Welcome to Track Tested Motorsports. My name is Boris, and today we're in Gene Pish's garage where we've been before.
Hello everyone, good to see everyone again.
Last time we were here, Jag interviewed Gene about his GT3 RS, and Gene has since sold the GT3 RS and has replaced it with this Miata, this 90s Miata, and which I personally always enjoy driving, especially on the track because they're so nimble. But why don't I let Gene tell us, Gene, why the Miata?
So I guess, Boris, what I'll say is the GT3 RS will never be replaced. Can't replace a GT3 RS with a Miata, but as we've talked about earlier, kind of heading in some different directions for the next couple of years here with our cars. You know, the GT3 RS was this great car for both the track and for the street. As we've talked about for the track, you know, I'm planning on pursuing more Porsche race cars, going with Keith, campaigning with Keith, you know, in a full factory Porsche race car, and kind of stepping out of the responsibilities of taking my own car and going with someone that's professionally preparing the car and enjoying the track like that. Then from a street standpoint, we're kind of taking a different approach in that, you know, Miata like this, we found this car, 28 years old. It's a completely different car than the Porsche, obviously, but it's still that fun, the driving factor. And that's what we're seeking with this car. My son and I got this together. We're looking for that fun factor with this.
That makes perfect sense to me. I mean, these things are so fun. And I think one of the reasons why I always enjoyed them is because they're so light. I think this weighs only, what, about 2,200 pounds?
So this car, Boris, I was looking at the specs, 2,200 pounds. It's a 1993. It only has 59,000 miles on it. So 2,200 pounds, stock, 116 horsepower. But the previous owner, retired couple that had this car for the last 15 years, and as you can tell, took incredible care of it, had AIM Tuning over in Speedway, Indiana, who I guess was a specialty company for Miatas, put a Flying Miata turbo kit on this. It's bumped it up to like 169 horsepower to the rear wheel. So again, not a huge amount of horsepower, but when you look at 169 horsepower, 2,200 pounds, it's a fun car.
Right, yeah, the horsepower to weight ratio is great. And these cars, you know, my first car was a British car. It was a Triumph Spitfire. And a friend of mine had a Lotus Elan, which is what I really wanted to have. And the early Miatas like this one remind me of the Lotus. You know, even the little details like the door handles.
Sure.
The design of the hardtop and the design of these wheels. So it brings back some good memories for me.
Yeah.
From the British, you know, British era. But the thing that I didn't like about my British cars was the lack of reliability, which I've learned over the years. These cars made that problem go away.
It seems like it. I mean, my son was the real driving factor in this car. He's had the opportunity to drive a lot of neat cars. He's been on the track up at Autobahn, so he knows his cars. He's 19 years old, and it was really cool that this was one of his dream cars, and he did a lot of research, and together we found this car together, and it's a different experience driving this car, lighter weight, and it's really cool how much he appreciates it.
And that is so cool.
Me in my 50s get a joy out of this car, and he does as well. And I thought one of the neatest things about this, after we brought it home, we detailed it up. Again, he's driven some high horsepower cars. He's been on the track. We have a drift car. And he took us out and he came back about an hour later and he said, Dad, he says, this is one of the most fun cars I've driven. Yeah. Meaning the experience of driving it. So
yes. It's a true driver's car. Yeah. As you know, I rented a race version of this, a Spec Miata.
As I have as well, yep.
And then the following day I had a GT4 Club Sport, Porsche factory race car. And you know, my first lap in the Club Sport was some 15 seconds quicker than the fastest lap in the Miata. But after driving the Club Sport a few sessions, I actually started missing the Miata. The feedback you get, you know, if you make a mistake, you know it right away. And the way the shifter is amazing in these cars. So you know, as much as I like horsepower, as do many of our viewers, this is a perfect example of how you can have a lot of fun without having a lot of
Sure,
horsepower.
sure.
Now, you know, Kyle's going to want to modify this car. You know, if it was my son, I'd let him. I mean, this car would get slammed.
Hey, did he just pay you to say
no,
that?
No, I didn't. But, you know, you have such appreciation for originality and the fact that this car is in such pristine condition. How are the dynamics going to work here between you and your son?
Well, I think the solution is I think we need to buy another. So
there you
so
go.
he can modify, and that's, I mean, we've talked about it. You know, Kyle has ideas for suspension, exhaust, stuff he wants to do to it, and you know, we went in on this one together, and we'll find a compromise. But I think the best solution would be find a twin and let him modify completely and keep this one as it is. But I would guess that we'll probably do some suspension work on it,
okay.
Maybe some exhaust work on it, and see where it goes from there. The market on these is crazy. You know, it's a different atmosphere than the Porsche, right? I mean, you're playing in a different sandbox, but at the same time, there is such an appreciation for these cars right now that, as you've seen, 2 years ago, you could pick one of these up in a garage sale. And now DuPont Registry is having articles about why a Miata is a collectible car now, and the values,
yeah.
the values are going through the roof. So to find one that was owned by a mature couple, an older couple that really took care of it, that was fairly, you know, unmolested, it was a good opportunity to hop onto it, and we'll be fulfilling the need for speed as well. We've got a new surprise coming here in the spring, and Jag, you'll have to come back in the well, I'll say early summer to film when that one shows up.
We'll be back in Gene's garage when that surprise arrives. And you know, if you do find a partner for this Miata, let's do an episode about that as well.
Certainly.